An inmate has been shot holding several hostages at the Orange County Jail in Central Florida. Thank God no correctional staff or jail staff were injured. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. Just last night we had some breaking news that our Central Florida Orange County Jail had an inmate with a gun. And we later learned from the Orange County Sheriff John Mina that an individual named Eric Stanley was arrested Saturday evening along with another individual on drug charges after Stanley was speeding along the World Center Drive. He was taken to the jail and brought to the inmate intake area at booking, and deputies stated that Stanley pulled out a gun and held a deputy, a correctional officer, and a nurse as hostages. None of them were hurt. Now, the sheriff stated that once he was in the intake area, he was safe from the public, so he could not get out. However, he was holding staff hostage, a very dangerous situation that we've seen happen in prisons and jails, and thank God no prison staff were hurt. I can't say that enough. It is such a scary situation when our staff members are placed in this type of danger. The job always holds danger. One of the most dangerous jobs in the world, detention deputies and correctional officers. Now, we're going to get into complacency, as you probably figured. I'm going to talk about complacency and searches. But let's talk a little bit more about the findings of what happened before we get into that. He was shot, Stanley, the individual who was had the gun and holding people hostage, by several deputies, it's reported by Sheriff John Mina. And they negotiated with him for about an hour and a half through the PA system at the jail. He threw the gun away finally, and it was at that point that the SWAT team moved in and secured him. I'm reading from an Orange County, Florida news report, a statement given by Sheriff John Mina. I don't want to misinterpret or mislead anything. I know the media sometimes doesn't always put everything down correctly, but they are quoting from the sheriff's office. Chief of Corrections Luis Quinones stated, "By far today is the worst day of my career." I can fully understand that. Anytime you have staff members taken hostage or an inmate gets a weapon into your facility, it is definitely one of the worst days of your career. It's something that we need to use now as training. Use this scenario. Thank God again, everybody is safe. Inmate was shot. He will survive. He had a shoulder injury. He went to the hospital. He will survive. So what do we want to do? We want to put this inmate away for a long, long time. We want to add more charges, of course. Introduction of a weapon into a correctional facility and attempted murder, hostage situation, whatever charges we can put on this inmate. Let's do it, state attorney. Get this guy and put him away for a long, long, long time. If he got life, it wouldn't bother me one bit. Not any bit whatsoever for what he did. Already on charges of drug charges, and now this. He knew what he was doing when he brought that weapon in. He never volunteered to say he had a weapon on him. Okay, now with that said, and everybody's safe, the sheriff's department now, and hopefully people across the country, can use this scenario to enlighten that we need more training in searches, and we need more training in hostage situations. Let's never get complacent in those two areas. We never know when we're going to have a person taken hostage by weapon or just taken hostage by hand, by physical restraint. It's happened a lot in the prison system. Now, we can use this for training purposes for our officers, and we can use it to enhance our policies and procedures on what we do in this type of situation. we cannot become complacent. I don't want to throw the finger at anybody. Who did not search the inmate? The arresting officer? Well, unfortunately, the inmate had the weapon on him when he was brought into the jail. Somebody slipped up somewhere. I don't know how far into the jail process the suspect was. Had the jail had him long enough to go through their procedures of searching and going through the body scan? It doesn't sound like they did. But as some of my colleagues that are still working in the business and that are retired, somebody is going to have to answer as to why this person was not searched and this weapon was not recovered before taking them to the intake area at the jail. And there will be an internal investigation, we know that, and the internal investigation will reveal who did or did not search the inmate. And the best thing to do is just be honest and tell it like it is, and let's get past this, and let's get some remedial training out there on searches before transport, searches after transport, searches and booking. Let's do this immediately. I had one person say, I did a video a while back on booking, searching suspects as they are brought into the intake area. And one person made a very good comment. First thing we should do is search, immediate search. Don't do the paperwork first. Don't try to do the paperwork. Let's give an immediate search, pat down again. Yes, the officer is supposed to have searched this person before transporting them. Now, always remember, when you take an inmate or a suspect from one deputy to another, never assume and make an ass out of you and me. Never assume that this person was searched. As this suspect is passed from deputy to deputy, you should always search them again. If I'm receiving an inmate from a deputy and the deputy says he's good to go, I checked him already, say, thank you, that's fine, I'm going to do my own search. Because now you have control of that suspect, that inmate. If I take control of a suspect or inmate from another deputy, I'm doing another search. I know that my fellow deputies, I want to rely on them, but look what happened in this case. Always search again. It's better safe than sorry. So, remember, folks, do not become complacent. Complacency kills. It's that simple. Do not allow complacency to let this happen in your agency. Take this as a lesson. Read about it. Google it. If you want more information, there's several stories out there, news reports on what the sheriff had to say about it, about what the chief has to say about it, and listen to what they say and learn from it. You don't want this happening in your agency. What could have happened was that nurse or one of the deputies could have been killed by this inmate. Again, thank God this did not happen. Okay? Thank you very much for listening. Let's say our prayers for those folks and thank God that He protected them in this incident. And use it, folks. Use it to wake up. Head on a swivel. Always pay attention. Toughest job in the world we have. Overtime. Extra days at work. And we're tired, but we must stay alert and not become complacent. Thanks a lot for watching Gary York True Prison Stories.